What's up, guys? Welcome to Nintendo Pow Block, episode 157. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Deering, and alongside me, as always, is that retro code, Eddie V.
Detective Pikachu. I cannot wait. Yes.
Wow. I just... Sometimes when he says things, I'm not prepared, and I should be, because we've done this 157 times.
Oh, wait, what did I do?
Also joining us is the wise Wisconsinite, Jesse Douglas.
How's it going, guys?
We just skip over Ed's questions.
Wait, what? Look, Jesse, when I do say hi, everybody, Craig's just like, wait, that was normal. This is weird.
You can't win it, Ed. You can't win. Just face it. You can't win on Nintendo Pow Block or...
Never good enough!
Right, Jesse.
I'm just saying it. You can't win. You can't win.
Oh, you know I'm going to be playing You Can't Win Child by Michael Jackson from The Wiz.
Sure, I don't even know what that is, but that's fine.
Wait, what?
I know what The Wiz is. I don't know the song, to be clear. I've never seen The Wiz, though, but I know what it is.
Before the show.
I did that twice before the show. You are correct. Oh, man. For those who are just joining us, welcome. This is Nintendo Pow Block. This is Nerds Gone Rogue's official Nintendo podcast. You can catch the show every Tuesday at 7 a.m. Eastern Time on your podcast service of choice and on youtube.com/Nintendo Pow Block and on nerdsgonerogue.com or ngrradio.com. The old website still works, but you can find it on nerdsgonerogue.com. You can also find it on Spotify and iHeartRadio. Soon. I have to use that caveat because I'm setting up our Podbean account real quickly, and it'll be there soon. So, yeah. So you can find it on your podcast service of choice and soon on Spotify and iHeartRadio. You can also watch us or breakout videos daily on our YouTube channel. So you can check us out there. Like, subscribe, and share. All that good stuff. Sorry, I kind of went into this housekeeping without actually saying I'm going into housekeeping, and then it just kind of happened. So I threw myself off, which doesn't happen ever. And by ever, I mean always. You can find us everywhere on social media. We are taking a new, more active approach on social media, if you haven't noticed. Instagram and Twitter in particular. I'm trying to be more active in those spaces. Wednesday is Wednesday with NES. There will be a post about NES every Wednesday. This Day in History on Throwback Thursdays. This Day in Nintendo History, so you can check that out. And just, random comments and pictures and stuff and memes and everything going on our Twitter and Instagram at Nintendo_P Block, both places. Come give us a follow. Like our memes and our pictures and our interesting facts that, I actually got a comment the other day because I posted a long-lost DS game, and somebody's like, oh, man, I remember this game. I'm like, yeah, somebody does, because I don't. It was like Ubisoft's version of Fire Emblem back in the day for DS, and I was like,
oh, yeah.
It was called, like, Lost Magic or something. And I'm just like, what is this game? So... has a Metacritic score of a 62, so it must not have been great. But anyways, you can also join our Facebook group at facebook.com/group/Nintendo Pow Block. You can also like Nerds Gone Rogue on Facebook at facebook.com/Nerds Gone Rogue. You can also find us streaming on Twitch soon. All I need is one more piece of equipment to come, and I actually have to order it, and we will be able to simulcast across the internet. So also for the month of May, we are giving away 5 of the best indie games on the Nintendo Switch. On May 7th, we are giving away Hollow Knight and The Messenger, so you can get those entries in. On May 21st, we are giving away Dead Cells, Katana Zero, and I'm moving Celeste up into that on that date too. So you'll have 2 weeks to get into those contests. Yeah, and if you don't win on the first day, your entries carry over into the second pool, so it's always a reason to enter. Yes. I had a fan ask if they could enter a specific prize pool, and I said sure. So if you don't want the games on the first day and you want to be automatically put into the second half of the giveaway, then you are allowed to do so. Yeah, you can. All you have to do is send a screenshot of your YouTube subscription or podcast subscription to Nintendo Pow Block at gmail.com to enter. If you rate us on iTunes and share that with us and send with a review, it grants you a second entry into the contest. And don't worry, if you don't win on May 7th, your entry carries over. Also, I want to mention, lastly, Ed's Yoshi's Crafted World review is up. You can go read it if you're on the fence about the game. It's a good review, so I would highly recommend you go check it out.
Yes.
Also, remember to subscribe to our other podcasts, Nerds Gone Rogue, Nerds Gone Platinum, and Arsenal X podcasts. If you like video games on all systems, you can go check out those podcasts as well. But for now, we're going to get into the cartridge slot for this week. This is the segment where we talk about what we are playing. So I'm going to start because I never start. And I've actually been knee-deep in playing a specific Switch game, which I know a lot of people are curious to see how this version runs on the Switch. Mortal Kombat 11. I ended up picking it up. Oh, actually, my parents got it for me for Easter, and I was pretty happy with it. So, yeah, I'm going to tell you right now, the game is great on Switch. It looks great. Well, let me preface it. The fighting and the action and the characters look great. All the characters are built for the ground up for the Switch version, and it runs at a solid 60 frames a second. All the inputs are there. All of the, everything you want is there. Excuse me. All the combos, all the fatalities, everything. The thing that I have been noticing on the Switch, especially in handheld mode, not necessarily in TV mode, which I have been playing a lot there as well. The resolution when you're doing a fatality or they're doing their victory poses or whatever, the resolution drops significantly, and the frame rate drops to sub 30 during those. But fatalities are, more cinematic, and it's easy to let that stuff go. But the core fighting is solid. The stages are solid enough. Some of the stuff in the background kind of looks like, when you look at an Unreal game, and Ed, I know you've been playing Days Gone on PlayStation 4.
Yes.
You know how sometimes when you get into an area, the textures look muddy until they pop in?
Yeah.
Some of the stages look like that, but the textures never pop in. It's not distracting from a gameplay standpoint, but when you compare it to the other versions, it does look a little sloppy. It's some of the corners they had to cut to make the game run at 60 frames a second on a handheld, which, in handheld mode, the game does look really impressive. The other thing I noticed is when I'm in the crypt is the kind of the, if you play Smash, like it's kind of like their version of like the Spirit Board, where you go in and you do different challenges and stuff, and unlock chests for items and stuff. In the PS4 and Xbox One versions, and I'm assuming the PC version, there's like a really beautiful like sky line where like the clouds are floating by, and it looks like what you would expect a sky to look like. In the Switch version, it's literally a gray gradient, like you would make in like a cheap Photoshop type thing, and like it doesn't look great. But once you start walking around and looking at like the different towers and the chests and everything, like all that stuff looks great, and so like I actually wouldn't have noticed it. I actually didn't notice it until I was watching a Giant Bomb quick look of Mortal Kombat, and they went into the crypt on the Switch version specifically. They did two separate quick looks, one of the Xbox One X version and one of the Nintendo Switch version, and there are significant texture differences. So, and that was the one thing that they pointed out, and I was like, oh geez, wow, now I can't unsee it. But it doesn't hinder the experience. The full Mortal Kombat 11 experience is there. and it's a good time. It is a fantastic fighting game. It's really accessible to people who don't play fighting games, even more so than Injustice. Jesse, I know you and I played a lot of Injustice when it came out. It's a little bit slower. The moves are a little bit more deliberate, and but it's really fun to learn the different moves and combos and fatalities and stuff, to the point where, like, if you really want to master this game, you can. So I'm actually really enjoying Mortal Kombat 11. I want to play through the story, but I didn't play through Mortal Kombat X's story, but I know it's on Game Pass, so I might just download it and run through the story mode real quick just to get caught up. But overall, if you are looking to take Mortal Kombat on the go and you've been on the fence, I highly recommend it, especially because this week it's $10 off on all online retailers. So
Interesting.
I would definitely check it out.
I might have to play 10 too. I might have to play 10 too, because the thing is like Mortal Kombat has always been my favorite franchise as far as fighting games go.
Yeah,
like I've just always, like, I mean, I liked Street Fighter and stuff a lot too, but like that, it was never really like my, like my brand, I guess you could say. But Mortal Kombat has just always been my favorite. Like, Mortal Kombat trilogy is still probably one of the best. Like, just because you had so many characters to pick from. Like, yeah. I really wish they would come out with a trilogy too. That would be awesome. Just have like all the newer characters.
Yeah, this time the game will work.
I would really like them to like put 9X and 11 together.
Yeah,
in a trilogy, and actually, maybe the game plays like 11, like the whole game, but I would like to see the story modes at least come over or do something like that, because I think that Mortal Kombat, well, NetherRealm games in general, like the story is the one thing that like those games are praised for, really. Like for a fighting game story, this is really good, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And I would really, because I didn't play 9 either.
Do you imagine if they did like a Master Chief collection, like of every single Mortal Kombat all in one?
Oh, goodness.
All in one collection.
Well, as long as they do the first 4 as arcades, and then go from 5.
Well, yeah, they could do it. They could keep them almost exactly the same, just kind of like up-res them. Just just not like, still keep it looking the way it did, but just clean everything up a little bit. Just make it a little bit smoother looking.
We'll probably get like Mortal Kombat 3 and Mortal Kombat Ultimate. 3 Ultimate.
That would be interesting, though.
Yeah, but anyways, I've also been playing a game called Ding Dong XL, which is a 99-cent game on the Switch, which I don't really know how to explain it, except for like it's a little ball that you shoot back and forth across this plane, and you have to like time it so it doesn't hit the objects in the way, or you lose.
Oh, okay.
It's basically just like, I guess, man, I don't even really know how to explain it. It's kind of like
Pong.
It's kind of like Pong and Frogger, right? At the same time, but you have to go back and forth instead of just going one way, and you like, it sits on this post until you press A, and then it goes across, like it'll go down, and then you press A again and it'll go up and then down and up, and like you just have to dodge the obstacles. It's it sounds real dumb, but it's one of those dumb games that's super addicting. And I've been playing that as well. It's been my stress relief for the week, to be quite honest with you. So it was really interesting to just lose hours into that game, since it was just kind of like real dumb. But on Switch, that's really all I've been playing. I did play like the first hour of Final Fantasy X. That nice. Opening cutscene is really, really well done in HD. But that's kind of all I've been playing. Who wants to go next? Let's see. Jesse, we're gonna pick you.
Okay, it'll be quick anyways. All I've really been playing is I played Hook and I played some Mario Kart. That's
Nice.
Nice.
Mario Kart and Hook are two great games.
it. Yeah.
I love Hook, and
Yeah.
I love Mario Kart. Mario Kart's my second most played games on game on Switch. By the way, I checked on. You know how you can sort it by time played.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mario Kart is my second most played game, followed by Puyo Puyo Tetris. So,
Oh wow.
Surprise, surprise.
Puyo Puyo Tetris is just so good. I just cannot deny that game is so good.
I mean, yeah, like why would I play anything else? Like why? Like Tetris is the perfect video game. It's the only perfect video game. There, I said it. I can't help it. There are a lot of games that I love, but Tetris is the perfect video game. So, anyways, Jesse, is that all you've been playing, Jesse?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, Ed, what are you playing, Ed?
So, what I've been playing is Hop, getting a little bit further into that. Getting through that again.
I did play a little bit of that too, but
Yeah, I've been playing more of it on the TV with the Pro Controller. I've been getting through a lot of areas with that. So, really enjoying that game. Finished up Phoenix Wright, the first game. So now I'm on the second one. I think it's Justice for All. I think that's the second game. So I'm like halfway through that one, and then I'll jump in the third, and then still be done with that. But I mentioned like last week that I picked up Box Boy and Box Girl.
Yes.
And I started up and playing that. And it's I still love the style, love the way that it looks. It looks completely beautiful, even though it's still like kind of simple. It still looks clean. I can say this, that it is a must-have for the price that they're offering in that. It is a must-have. I'm enjoying the puzzles. It feels like it wants to be an RPG, but it's not. Because of the stuff that you collect and how you gotta use boxes, and they kind of give you like 3 chances to like get medals and stuff. Not as in lives or anything, but the less boxes you use, the higher rewards you get. And then you still collect the crown with that. I haven't did 2-player or anything like that, but because it asks you, do you want to do solo play or 2 players and stuff. So I haven't only just did the first player one, and getting into that. And these puzzles are going to really make you think. It starts out real simple with the first world because they're really teaching you the basics. So it's a tutorial. But then further on, you're going to have to use your mind and the boxes and your jumps and stuff on how you want to go around the level. But I'm definitely enjoying it. Also, played a little bit more of Yoshi's Crafted World to collect some more things for that. So I did that. Other than that, that's kind of what what I've been playing. I still need to start Blaster Master 02, so I'll talk about that next time. But that's pretty much what I've been playing for Switch. I need to start playing some of the NES games that I've never beaten. Because I want to get through that, and I got to get some points on for my NX challenge and stuff. But I did play some stuff for Xbox and Sony, but I'll talk about that on Arsenal X, so you guys will be able to hear my thoughts on Sekiro and Days Gone.
Nice.
I really am in the mood for like finding a good beat 'em up on Switch to get. Like, because I just want to get some kind of good beat 'em up or something.
Can we get a new Battletoad Double Dragon, please? Thanks.
Yeah, that would be. Awesome.
No,
that would be awesome. I'd love it.
Ed, you're fired. Go away.
No. I played that on the Super Nintendo.
I want a Switch version. Maybe the people who made Shaq Fu Legend Reborn can make it, because that game was a 10 out of 10.
No. No.
I'll be honest, that game really isn't that bad. Like, it's not the best in the world, but like by any means. But
that game,
it does what it needs to do when I feel like playing it.
I mean, they accomplished their goal and said it was. They set out to make a game that was better than the original, and they did. Did
it
that.
definitely better.
it's still questionable content for me.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And Jesse, isn't the Capcom beat 'em up collection on Switch?
It might be. I haven't. I'll be honest. I haven't done much of any gaming lately. I mean, I've been playing stuff when I can, but I don't know, man.
Life as an adult gets in the way.
Well, it's and I'm just been staying home later at night to help out with getting the kids ready for bed and stuff like that, so I don't get to work until late, and so then by the time I get home from work, the kids are already up, so I don't really have time to do, because I used to get home like at 2-3 in the morning, every day, and then I could play for a couple hours before the kids get up, but that hasn't happened, so that's like why the NX challenge is non-existent in my life.
I know.
I have not. And then like on the weekends, like Sundays, sometimes I'll play something, but a lot of times like I'm just exhausted from the weekend and I just want to watch something, just sit and watch something and fall asleep. So
like I said, we got to the end of the year for the end.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah. So so that's what we've been playing. That wraps up the cartridge slot for this week. We're going to dive into the eShop drop for this week. So there's a lot of things coming out this week in terms of indies and stuff like that, but I highlighted some major games that I thought we would really get into here. Final Fantasy XII The Zodiac Age is the major release this week. It's finally coming to a Nintendo console. That is a game that I think everybody should not shy away from. It's a little bit different than most Final Fantasies. It's moving more into it plays more like a single player MMO than it does a traditional JRPG. But the story is fantastic. The characters are fun. The history behind that game is actually pretty interesting to read about, especially because a lot of we talk about games changing late in development cycle today. Like this is one of those games where Balthier and Fran and what's the other guy's name that hangs out with Fran? I forget, but those three were supposed to be the main characters, and late in development, Square said that this was too mature of a story and that they needed kids to be the main characters, and that's where Vaughn and
Penelope.
Yeah, Penelope came in. I thought it was Penelope, but I think I don't know, for some reason I got tongue-tied, because you know how people like to give people weird names that sound like one, that read like one thing but sound like a different one, so those characters were actually added way late in the game. In development, and that's why the game was delayed like 6 months. So
wow.
Not that Square is very shy from delaying games.
Exactly.
But Final Fantasy XII Zodiac Age adds a twist on the not the sphere grid, the way you level up your characters. So
yes,
definitely check that out. I can't wait for 12. Swords of Ditto, the definitive edition, is coming to Switch. If you guys don't know, it came to PS4 last year. It's a Zelda-style roguelike, and the Swords of Ditto are like it's a sword that gets passed down through generations through the characters that you play as, and gives you rewards based on what your character is and what you collect and what you do in the game. So that's a cool game. Black Paradox is totally an Ed game. It looks like R-Type meets like Gradius or whatever. Like that's why
sounds like it'd be my game too.
So that game's coming. It's $9.99. Strike Suit Zero is coming, which is kind of a dogfighting a first-person dog-fighting spaceship shooter. So kind of like the old X-Wing TIE Fighter games for PC. And then Giga Wrecker Alt is the reason why I put this on here is because it is Game Freak's new game. The developers behind the mainline Pokemon games. So,
okay.
This is their new game, and it is. I think it looks. I didn't read anything about it, but it is definitely some sort of side-scrolling action game. Maybe Metroidvania, maybe not. I'm not sure. I didn't read a lot about it, but I put it on here because it is Game Freak's next game. So, also dropping this week are the Nintendo Labo VR updates for Super Mario Odyssey and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And there's a very interesting article you should read on Nintendo Life that said, "The time The Legend of Zelda made me puke, and it is them playing the game in VR." So, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've read a lot of articles that say it's not good.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can maybe fix, like maybe it just needs some kind of tweaks, but I don't know.
Well, the thing is like Zelda only runs at 30 frames a second,
Yeah.
and it chugs sometimes because that game is so big and it's running on Switch, but like you need 60 to 90 frames a second to run in VR for it not to have that smooth motion fluidity, and a chugging 30 is not gonna cut it. So
Right.
I mean, I bet it's a unique experience that you can do for like 5 minutes and be like, yeah, I got what I needed out of it.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a future thing that maybe will improve when we do get the upgrade.
Yeah.
Eventually, hopefully that will be able to handle it better.
Yeah. So, what are the games that you guys are looking forward to this week?
So for me, because I have my Switch, Giga Art Wrecker is the one I'm looking for. I kind of miss playing some of Game Freak's game. I'm passing Final Fantasy 12. I'm eventually going to get it on Switch, but I beat it before on PS4 and on PS2, so I'm not in such a hurry to pick that game up. But Black Paradox, I look at it. It looks cool. I think I'm gonna wait for a sale for it. But yeah, Giga Art Wrecker is what I'm into. So that's my pick of the week.
Nice. Jesse, what's your pick of the week?
I think I'll probably go with Black Paradox.
Yeah. I mean, it looks cool. It's very colorful and very striking to look at for sure.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I mean, my pick is Final Fantasy 12. I know I won't have the time to play it. I know I'll play it for like an hour and be like, yeah, I'm all in, and then I won't touch it. But like that's definitely my pick. I don't care for shoot 'em ups. I don't care for roguelikes, and I don't care for first person dogfighting games. So that pretty much leaves Final Fantasy 12 or Giga Wrecker. All it looks cool as like a side scrolling thing, but there's so many that I have now that I haven't finished, like Guacamelee or Katana Zero or The Messenger. Like I need to get through those first too, before I start picking up more, because I'm just not getting. Like, Cuphead is another example of something that
Exactly.
It's just a mess. So those are our eShop drop pick of the weeks. Make sure you check back every Thursday on youtube.com/Nintendo Pow Block to check out our eShop drop pick of the weeks, because that's when the segment will go up on YouTube. Or you can listen to it on the podcast, but we break out the segments here to make it for a better viewing pleasure for you, people of the internet. All right, let's jump into these news bits. Guys, Persona 5 was announced for Switch, but not
Yay!
But not the version we wanted.
Boo.
This article comes from IGN. Persona 5 announced for Switch and PS4, but it's not the Persona 5 you want. It is Persona 5 Scramble, the Phantom Strikers. So, Persona 5 Scramble, the Phantom Strikers, a Muso spinoff of the mainline Persona series, has been announced for PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch. Announced during Persona Super Live 2019 concert via a brief Japanese trailer, Persona 5 Scramble is being created as a collaborative effort between Atlas and Koei Tecmo's Omega Force team, known for its work on Dynasty Warriors series, and for Nintendo fans, Hyrule Warriors and Fire Emblem Warriors as well. According to Persona Central, it's being labeled as the quote first action RPG in the Persona series. While little is known about the game, the trailer clearly shows Persona 5 Scramble as a Musou game where Joker fights against large hordes of enemies all at once. The game currently has no official release date, though an official website has gone live.
So it's like one of those what are those games that my friend Pat likes to play, where it's just a whole bunch of like there's like hundreds of characters that you're just like
that's what the Musou games are. They're called Musou.
Yeah, that's the genre is Musou. So
okay.
Yeah.
I'm a little disappointed.
Yeah.
I'm glad that like, you know, Persona 5 is getting another spin-off game and like people are really excited for it or whatever, but like this was the announcement I was holding off for a Switch version of Persona 5 because I really want to play it and I know I do not have the time to play it if all I have is a couple hours a night. You know?
And that's what a lot of people feel like. They will play the game on Switch because they're playing it in handheld mode and like being away or being gone, they will play it more on there than on PS4.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at too. So, I have the game for PS4, but like
me too.
I
was really hoping for that Switch version.
Yeah, and I just don't like those kind of games at all. They're just too repetitive for me.
Yeah,
I just can't enjoy it.
The thing about it is that everybody's been talking about Shin Megami Tensei 5 being exclusive to Switch, and I think Atlas, like they don't have a lot of big teams to work on different franchises. So I kind of feel like they're focusing on that game to bring the Switch for maybe E3 or something. Oh, go ahead.
You saying they don't have a lot of big teams, and they do all their own porting too.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the Persona team right now is half of them are working on the Royal expansion or the Royal edition of Persona 5, and the other half is working on getting Catherine full body out for PS4 as well. So that leaves literally no one to port this game to Switch. And like, I guess, you know, if we weren't so hyped about maybe Persona coming to Switch, we probably could have put that together if we were smart people.
Well, the thing about it, I think Nintendo would have got Persona Q2.
Well, they did. They are. It's coming to 3DS.
The 3DS. But I think they probably come to 3DS and Switch. That's my guess now, because that game should have been out. I haven't heard much of it, so maybe that's probably the version that we'll get also.
Did you hear the? A lot of people are sad because Nintendo said they have nothing to announce for first party for 3DS.
Yes.
So.
Everybody's just like, well, that's the end of the 3DS. I'm just like, there's other third parties. I'm like, Nintendo is full deep in stuff for Switch, and when we get to later on in the stories, you'll understand why. I have theories. I have a lot of thoughts.
Yeah. Speaking of Nintendo Switch, our next story revolves around Retro Studios posting multiple job listings talking about joining, quote, the Nintendo legacy. This comes from Nintendo Life. Retro Studios, the developer behind titles like Metroid Prime, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, and Mario Kart 7, has posted a number of new job listings today. The company is searching for talented individuals who are passionate about the, quote, Nintendo legacy. You can check out the jobs, quote, here if you're interested, blah, blah, blah. They're looking for lead character artists, level 1 and 3 tools engineers, physics engineer, IT engineer, and more. So, and then there's a quote here about the job listing. So, man, Metroid Prime 4 seems like it's a whole lot farther away than even I anticipated. I mean, even after they said they restarted at Retro, like I thought maybe they would be like, okay, let's take what this team had. Let's see what assets we can use. Let's use this engine. Let's build around it. Let's see what we can salvage here to put together, so we don't have to start from scratch. But man, this job listing, and maybe they're not. Maybe they have like a rough idea of what's happening, and they have people working on assets and stuff. But like this seems like a Breath of the Wild style situation to me, where like this is really far away to the point where like whatever is coming after Switch, this might also end up on.
Me and you was talking about it, Corey, and I was talking about they kind of restarted everything from the ground up, and it literally feels like whatever was there, what they had, they probably were just like, you know what, we can't use this. We got to start from ground up. So there's probably now like new weapons, new ideas, maybe a new story. Like they're just by them having this, and I think this is a big opportunity for a lot of studios who have recently closed. You know how Telltale closed. Maybe people from Visceral and stuff, if they haven't been moved in a company or anywhere, like if they still haven't found a job and they want to move to Texas and start on a retro with retro studios, I'm like, this is that big opportunity. So I believe good things could come out of this. This kind of makes me happy that Metroid Prime 4 is getting pushed back. Because of what the stuff that's been dropping like for this year. I could be like, I could wait now to 2021 to have a Metroid Prime 4 because the stuff that's going to get planned in. Maybe we'll have Prime 4, the next Mario, and a Zelda again. So maybe that's like kind of like the rebirth of the Switch in a sense on how, just Ben, when it first came out, it was just knocking games out that we was all anticipating and happy to have. And I think that kind of continuation will happen in 2021. So take your time, Retro Studio, get the people that you need, anyone who's looking for a job, and apply and help Retro deliver us maybe one of the best Metroid Prime 4 game. Metroid Prime 4, one of the best Metroid Prime games since the GameCube.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are looking to like put their stand. Like you look at it, even as like indie teams, right? Like most of these people grew up playing Nintendo, and their dream was to make a game for a Nintendo console. And you see all these indie games doing that, and this is going to be like the next evolution of that. I think is like,
yes,
man, all these people from Activision with first-person shooting experience from Overwatch and Call of Duty looking for jobs. People from EA looking for jobs. People from Bungie looking for jobs. Why not?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, why not?
Yeah.
If they want to continue working in that type of storytelling style, first-person narrative style thing, like Metroid Prime is the place to do it. Right. So,
I think that like I would rather have Breath of the Wild, like, reviving of Metroid than just get another Metroid Prime, it sounds like they're going to kind of like go big with it. And,
I hope they do, I hope it has like like my one thing, like the one thing I didn't really care for in Metroid Prime 3, which besides the motion controls, well, that's a different story altogether. But the one thing I didn't really care for is that you go to multiple locations, right? And like the whole thing about Metroid is like solidarity in one location with a big sprawling map to explore, right? And like I want that for Metroid Prime 4, right? I think. You look at something like Halo 4, right? I really felt a lot of it still felt a lot like Halo, but you get a lot of Metroid Prime vibes from that because that team, a lot of that team went to 343 to work on Halo, and the other parts of that team went to Armature and did. I think a lot of them did Recore, but when you play Halo 4, you get a lot of that Metroid vibe from it, and like. I really want to see them do that with Metroid Prime 4. So, man, that it just makes me sad reading that. Not that like, I mean, yeah, I'm a greedy gamer. I want the game as soon as possible, but at the same time, I'm like, take your time, make this the best Metroid game you possibly can, because as much as we love Metroid doesn't sell well unless the game is fantastic, right?
Yeah.
And so I want a fantastic Metroid game, so they keep making Metroid games.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. If they knock it out of the park right now with how popular, the Switch is, and I feel like they have a really good install base that, buys their, with the Switch, they have a lot of people who are buying their first party games. And I think that, there might possibly be a lot of people who've maybe never played a Metroid game before who will be playing this one. Same with the Zelda. Like I feel like there was probably some people who've never played, any of the Zeldas before. Probably because they're younger, but they're old enough, like my son, where they can still kind of play it and enjoy it, because like he's never really played any other Zelda game. So if they do it right, they can get they'll get a whole bunch of new fans. And I still think that we are gonna get a trilogy.
I know,
and that's what I was about to say.
I know,
that's why I say now that changes everything. That trilogy will hold people over for the next Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, I mean,
now it's needed.
I bet that trilogy comes early next year. That's my thing.
Yeah.
Retro. Yeah, I know we need to move on here, but I think Retro has been working on porting Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, so they know how to port older games to this new system, right? And I know that the GameCube and the Wii tech is different from the Wii U tech, but they're familiar with the Switch dev kit already. And that to me tells me that we're going to get that Metroid trilogy early in the year, and then sometime over the summer we're going to get the Star Fox racing game.
I think we're going to get a Metroid Prime trilogy remastered.
That's what we're talking about.
Well, I mean, trilogy as the trilogy as in they're not just putting all 3 games on there and then just release them. Like they'll
up-res all the textures. It'll be similar. Yeah. It'll be similar to what they did with Twilight Princess HD, I think, where some of the character models they'll actually go in and redo. They'll clean up a lot of the environmental textures. They'll clean it up, brighten it up, make it really pretty, and then sell it for $1,000, which I would still spend.
Man, just to see Prime 1 and 2 running at 60 frames a second.
I was looking up stuff because that the Dolphin emulator runs GameCube games, like they emulate GameCube games in 4K.
Yes.
And like and not that I have a 4K monitor, but it's 1080p, and I was watching some YouTube videos of Metroid Prime 4, which in our old intro, I used the intro video from the emulator of Metroid Prime on our thing. Dude, if they can get the trilogy to look like that, I'm just like, man, dude, like man, it's just
retro is great enough to do that.
And like, I know people's arguments are like, well, a lot of the people don't work at Retro anymore. It doesn't matter. Like, every company has turnover, right? Like,
right.
The thing is like, Retro has a legacy, and when somebody leaves, somebody fills that position, and they learn from the previous employee to do the job, and like, there's still that legacy there.
Right.
Is my point. And so I hope Metroid Prime 4 turns out fantastic.
Yes.
And I still think we might get Metroid Prime Federation Force at some point on Switch. Moving on. I wanted to cut everybody off before somebody had something else to say. Nintendo's president wants the Switch game library to, quote, continue to meet consumers' diverse tastes. At Nintendo's latest financial results briefing, President Shuntaru Furukawa took the time to discuss both the first and third-party software offerings on the Switch and how the system's library of games should continue to appeal to as many different people as possible. Starting with the first-party selection, Furukawa shared a graphic made up of predominantly upcoming releases. He also mentioned how there were more titles that had not yet been discussed, which is super exciting and awfully scary because there's a lot coming. As you can see, we will constantly release new titles during the fiscal year ahead. There are still more titles that we haven't yet discussed. We intend to continue to expand the lineup of software that can be enjoyed by consumers around the world, and that will keep people playing Nintendo Switch. The first-party titles announced for the next fiscal year include Nintendo Labo VR Kit, which is out this week, Super Mario Maker 2, Fire Emblem Three Houses, Astral Chain, Pokemon Sword and Shield, Luigi's Mansion, Animal Crossing, and The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. So that is your first party lineup. Your third party lineup consists of Crash Team Racing, Daemon X Machina, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, Dragon Quest XI S. There's a lot of logos in Japanese here that I don't understand. Disney Zoom Zoom Festival, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, Cuphead, which is out already, Cadence of Hyrule, which is coming, My Friend Pedro, Silk Song, A Hollow Knight Adventure, Slay the Spire, Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered, God Eater 3, Resident Evil Origins Collection, Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice, which is out, Mortal Kombat 11, which is out, Doom Eternal, and Wolfenstein Youngblood, along with a bunch of other games. So this year is packed.
Mm-hmm.
And by packed, I mean it is packed.
We have more to come. Literally,
plus all the indie.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think Amazon will take Monopoly money? Because that's the only way I'm going to be able to afford any of this.
Yes. Well, it's just it's so funny on how people laughed at Nintendo when they first started out with the Switch. And was just like, they're not going to have no library. They're not going to have no big games.
Remember when the Switch was announced and everybody made fun of them because all they had was Zelda and 1-2 Switch, and then the only other 3 games at the time were Super Bomberman R, Ultra Street Fighter 2, and what was the other major game? Has Been Heroes, which was that GameStop weird roguelike RPG thing.
Yeah.
And everybody was freaking out, and I was like... And Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was the other game that was announced. So I'm like, man. But then it turned out
he should set up a Swag Bucks account.
Right. But it was just like, it went from people laughing at it to people like, slow down, Nintendo. You guys are giving us too many titles. There was a cavalcade of great titles and like ports and stuff coming, and it still continue on going. And it's just like, I don't know how Nintendo can stop. Like, I don't know how indies and maybe some third party publishers could be like, we got to put our stuff on Switch because the interest and guaranteed sales are there. You know, like we talked before, physical and digital truly matter on Switch than any other platform. I'm sorry.
I didn't put it in here, but Nintendo Switch's digital sales are up 58% year over year, which is an astounding number, especially for a system that people like to collect the physical editions.
Right. And like limited run games, Nicholas, like Fan Gamer, all the people who put out the indie games that's on digital to physical, people spend the money to get those collector's edition, which is good business for those indie developers and whoever's releasing it. Like, that's guaranteed money that they're going to sell out.
Yeah, and I think it helps too that it, like, you know, a lot of the games are fairly smaller files, and so you can get a nice size, you know, micro SD card and you know, like, just download a whole crap load of you know, physical or digital games. So
yeah,
it's, you know, like, that's the main issue with like the Xbox and PlayStation is like those files are so incredibly big that it's like you have to have a terabyte, and it still feels like what it used to feel like when you had, you know, like a 20 gig memory card or whatever, you know, because like the files are just so incredibly big on a lot of that stuff, and that's something that the Switch doesn't quite have to worry about yet, so
Right.
Yeah, unless you're buying those third-party games like Mortal Kombat and Doom, which I mean, even those are relatively small compared to the 4K counterparts, but like, I mean, when you only have a 256 gig memory card, and Warframe is 18 gigs, and Doom is 26 gigs, and Wolfenstein is 32 gigs, and Mortal Kombat is 22 gigs, like, that's half your memory card right there. So I mean, and like, obviously Nintendo games, Nintendo published games are all on the cartridge, right? They don't need any extra download or anything. So like, if you get the cart, you're saving space. All you're doing is storing updates and stuff and save game data. But when you get these third-party games, like when Wolfenstein Youngblood comes out, like, no cart in the box, so clearly a major download for them. It's
But people will, like, if people did it for PUBG on Microsoft, why not do it for Nintendo?
I wonder if there's like a workaround, if like someone's invented like some kind of program where you can pull the game states off of like a micro SD and save them on a hard drive, and just like to be able to just transfer games back and forth if you want to, and you don't want to have to re-download it every time.
Actually, Jesse, there's been people who will look at Europe, and if they're getting a physical, they'll go do like Play Asia or something like that, Amazon UK, in order for them to have it shipped to America.
Yeah, like a lot of people were ordering Final Fantasy X and X-2 from Europe because both full games were on the cartridge, whereas here it's weird because like half of each game is on the cartridge, but the other half of the game you have to download, and you have to download it, and you have to have the cartridge in to play both games, and it is annoying. Like it, and as someone who has internet and is able to download this stuff, no data caps or anything, like, I don't have a problem with it. But someone who lives out in the middle of nowhere with bad internet and is like wants to play Final Fantasy X, a PS2 game, and they have to download something from the internet because it won't play otherwise, like, that's a little annoying. I'm not gonna lie. So
that's why I feel like region free on Switch is probably one of the most benefits that a lot of us don't think of, but we should start taking advantage of, because
I think a lot of like more people on Switch than most import games, just because they can, and it's way easier to do that than for the other systems. So.
I want that Akami HD physical. I have to figure a way on how to get it from Japan.
Okay, we're gonna move on to this last story here. Nintendo, we kind of already touched on it. Nintendo reconfirms release windows for the biggest Switch titles of 2019 and beyond. I'm just going to read this list here. This is Nintendo's slate for 2019. This is their slate of games coming to the Switch, major AAA games that they are either publishing or partnering with studios on. Super Mario Maker 2, Dragon Quest Builders 2, Fire Emblem Three Houses, Astral Chain, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order, Daemon X Machina, Dragon Quest XI S Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition. Man, that's a title. Pokemon Sword and Shield, Animal Crossing for Nintendo Switch, Luigi's Mansion 3, which got did you see that it got a logo update, by the way?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's not much. They just made the 3 look a little bit more like a ghost and made it orange instead of purple.
Oh,
so it's kind of cool. The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. Those are the 2019 games, and then beyond is Bayonetta 3 and Metroid Prime 4. So Nintendo has a really, really, really stacked year.
Dude, I just thought of something crazy. So like I can almost, like, if they do it, that's gonna be awesome. But I can totally see them making a Luigi's Mansion Labo kit where you put the Switch thing into a thing that looks like a vacuum.
Yep, I can see it too.
I Jesse, no doubt that might be shown at E3.
Yeah, that'd be. I mean, that would. I think these first couple, like the first 2 or 3, honestly, probably like the first 2 were actual like, okay, these are our ideas. This is what we want Labo to be. And then the vehicle kit was like really the first like, okay, you can play Mario Kart on this thing. And like it comes with the vehicle pedals and the steering wheel and stuff. And like you can play Mario Kart like this. And then the VR stuff is like, this is what we want to do in VR. And we updated Mario for specific missions and stuff. And I think whatever's next is going to tie directly into a game. And I think you're right. I think Luigi's Mansion is the perfect game for a Labo.
Yeah.
Did you think they show it at a Nintendo Direct?
I mean, I think they'll just do a separate video. I don't think Labo is big enough to waste a direct space on. I think like, you remember how it was revealed in that kind of short video?
Yes.
I think that's how they'll start doing Labo. I actually think Labo will get their own set of video series that people will be able to latch onto.
And Jesse, I think that idea, if Nintendo doesn't do it, I think somebody's going to put plans, like a blueprint plan out that you could get the cardboards and do the cutting and everything.
Yeah,
if you want to have that.
Somebody hire this man.
It's a pretty basic concept, you know. I mean, you're just basically turning something like that into a controller, you know, like it's not too difficult. I could probably even figure it out.
I want to see that happen, and then I want to see how it looks like when people color it and design it. I think that would be Jesse.
Also confirmed in this set of articles here, Nintendo confirms E3 2019 plans, which is a Nintendo Direct followed by Treehouse Live. So
with Smash and Macross Splatoon tournament. So
yeah. So I mean, I bet Animal Crossing and dude, you know it'd be awesome. You know how they always focus around like one game for their booth. What if they made an Animal Crossing town with a beach where Link finds his sword from Link's Awakening? And then as you make your way through the town, there's a haunted mansion for Luigi's Mansion. That's what I'm imagining their booth right now. It's like like the theme is Animal Crossing, but there is a mansion in the back of the booth, like not like a real mansion obviously, but like a scary Luigi's Mansion style thing. And then the entrance is the beach where Link finds a sword for Link's Awakening.
Everybody, I'm about to disappear again one more time.
And then Pikmin 4 will be announced, and there'll be Pikmin scattered everywhere that are Easter eggs.
You know, I would just throw everything where I'm at right now, and just be like, if that happens, sorry, I would stop doing AX. Just be like, I'm full Nintendo. Well, no, I wouldn't stop doing AX. But once again, everybody,
I know that's man. If
I have no words, I'm done. I can't.
I'm just excited to see what their booth's going to be. But the other thing that Animal Crossing has to compete with is Pokemon. So who knows? Who knows what their booth is going to be this year? But we don't have time to talk about that right now. What we do have time for is the question block. Remember, you can email your questions at nintendopowblock@gmail.com with the subject line question block, and we will read your question right here on the air, just like Jason Grant did. He asks, what do you think about Pokemon Sword and Shield focusing on handheld mode? It's kind of a bummer not taking advantage of the full tech of the console.
I have no problem with it.
Yeah, I mean, Pokemon's always been a on the go game, right? And
yes.
And you know, and I almost put this in the news, but I figure since we had a question about it, we would just talk about it right here. There's an article coming out saying that the Pokemon Let's Go games are going to be their console focused games, which almost confirms that more Let's Go games are coming. Which I could actually see Gold and Silver coming next year, to be honest with you, if I'm being completely honest with you. But yeah, I mean, for them to focus on handheld, I think that's really smart of them, just because I think a lot of people use the Switch as a handheld console anyway. People have an expectation of Pokemon. If that rumored mini Switch is coming this year, they're going to want to bundle it with Pokemon. And that, you know, it's just a smart move from a business perspective, because, you know, kids like to carry around their 3DSs and now Switches. So,
and like Pokemon has always been a social game. So why not focus on, you know, yeah, you can play it on the big screen, but we know you guys are going to be out there collecting and trading and battling other people in different places. So let's put more of our focus on there than just having you online at home.
Yeah, exactly. So. Thoughts, Jesse, on Pokemon handheld?
Yeah, you know, like the thing, this is how I look at it. If they didn't do that way, we wouldn't be getting another Pokemon on Switch. They would do it on DS, you know. So I think that's the thing, is that's the trade-off is you're kind of gonna have to accept that, or otherwise you just you'd have to wait, get it on the DS, and you know, let's face it, it wouldn't look as good, I think.
Right.
And and like I was kind of thinking about this earlier too, and like stuff we were talking about, but like I think the thing is like I don't think the Switch is going anywhere for a long time. I think it's going to be treated basically like the DS has been, where we're gonna get like upgrades every couple of years or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think, like, I could honestly see the Switch being like,
it's going to be like the Game Boy. It's going to be around for 15 or 20 years almost.
Yeah, I honestly think that's what it's going to be like. That it's going to have upgrades, like maybe every like 5 years or something like that. That will be a little bit more powerful, but it's that way they can still have people who want to play stuff on the go and also play it, in better looking resolution on the TV. And it's like, because it offers both, there really is no reason for them to go back to just having a smaller handheld or a big system. I mean, they could if they really wanted to get into like 4K and stuff like that, but I just don't really. I
don't see them getting into 4K stuff until it's absolutely the cheapest way to make something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the screen
or it's like everyone has a 4K TV and the new thing is like 8K or something like that, like that's, it just like, I just think that them kind of making this move to worrying about everything on the Switch now is like, that's what we're going to see. Is we're going to see games that normally would have just been on the 3DS, like coming over, which is a good thing, because I mean, like we've been talking about this, for how long now with Arsenal X, like everything, is like all the backwards compatibility and all that stuff. Like everyone wants everything all in one place. So for them to just focus and do all that stuff all on the one system is a good thing. Like, I think it's just makes sense.
I think Nintendo is quietly that's their plan. I think they're looking at the way Apple upgrades their tablets or phones or something, and they're like, it's the same thing with the Wii. Like, they studied how Apple was selling phones and the designs and the sleekness and the simplicity, and that's how they sold the Wii. And I think they're still using that concept with the Switch, and they're like, okay, we tried to do this thing with tablets with the Wii U. That way didn't work. What do we need to do to make that work? And then they came up with the brilliant idea of the Switch, and it's like, oh yeah, that totally makes sense. And to go back, like you said, Jesse, to have a dedicated handheld and a dedicated home console would look like a step backwards, just based on the way that Nintendo likes to do things, right?
Yeah.
And so if they just upgrade the technology in the tablet every 4 or 5 years, and like, it'll still play your old games at this resolution, but it plays games better, like the newer games better because it's more powerful, right? But it's always going to play your old games.
And they'll have those new chips, which is going to be now at a reasonable price, which now, like, they could phase out that old version. And then if people want to get that new version, they can at a more reasonable and cheaper price.
Yeah. And like, if they want to like redesign it a little bit, like you're going to see that naturally, right? You saw that with the 3DS, you saw that with the DS several times. You know, if they can have a sleeker, cleaner design and upgrade the technology within it without really a noticeable difference to the basic consumer, but really, you know, someone like me who, like, if they announce a more powerful Switch, I'm gonna get it, right? Because I would like to have the best Nintendo console sitting under my TV, right? But like the casual consumer, or like by the time this comes, let's say a new Switch comes out in 4 years or 5 years, right? My kid's gonna be 5 years old. I can pass my old one down to her if she's interested in playing games, or I teach her how to play games or whatever, and I can use the new one, right?
Yeah.
And I think people have been doing that with phones for a long time, and I think Nintendo wants to do that with their system.
And you already have Nintendo Online with the cloud save, so transferring games and data stuff wouldn't be too hard. Right. Maybe finally they could include Bluetooth stuff, even though I know this doesn't relate to the Pokemon question. But I'm just like, the enhancements of a new Switch can like enhance the experience while still having that old, still having that old system. And,
but I mean, that still does kind of wrap around to the Pokemon thing, right? Because like if you hand your old Switch down and you buy a more powerful Switch, that you're going to be using the TV while like your kid or another family member is going to be playing in handheld mode, right? And so that, I think Pokemon is designed with that also in mind, right? Like people, especially because in Japan they sell a dockless Switch. They sell one. So why wouldn't you focus? And Nintendo is so, focused on the Japanese culture, right? In terms of development and making games, you be able to play games while you're traveling on the train or while you're on the go, and that's a big part of Japanese culture, and even culture in major metropolitan areas around the United States also, like New York or LA, or I'm assuming it's similar in Chicago, Ed, where like public transportation is a big way to get around. Like, them focusing on that is smart. It, not just from a business perspective, but from a geological perspective also. So
it like that and that not only sells, that alone also sells accessories. Because if you're doing a lot of car traveling, you're going to have the car adapter. If you're doing stuff on the train, like when I go to Indiana or go see Corey, I'm going to have an adapter so I can plug it to my Switch.
Yeah,
and exactly. I don't want to take my home one in case something happens. I could just buy a new one, and that's more money for Nintendo. In a sense.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot to talk about. I think that the topic, which we might actually discuss on next week's show, and Jesse, I know maybe we'll wait a couple weeks so Jesse can join us, because I know, Jesse, you said you weren't available next week, so we'll wait and have that discussion when Jesse comes back. But like, I think the idea of the Switch never really going away is a fascinating concept, because that's what like you said, Jesse, that's what Xbox and PlayStation want to do with their next systems, right? Is like, we want you to be able to live in this ecosystem, and we are a digital marketplace, not just a box anymore. But I think Nintendo is actually quietly doing that with the Switch already. So it's gonna be interesting to see. It's gonna be fascinating to watch how Nintendo upgrades or downgrades the Switch depending on what audience they're catering to. And I love this stupid system. It's so great. It's so good.
It's beautiful.
I mean, even the third party games, man. Like I've played Doom on it, Wolfenstein, Mortal Kombat, like all these games. Like, yeah, graphically they're not as good, but they still run great. And it's just, man, I love this little system so much. It's the best. It's the best. It's my favorite Nintendo system, I think, since Game Boy Advance, honestly, or GameCube. Like,
I just need some new Joy-Cons and colors.
Yeah.
I'm still jealous of your blue ones, Jess. I mean, Corey.
Yeah. I don't have them on currently. I have the gray ones on because, like, I don't know. I like the gray ones when I'm actually out because it looks like a sleek piece of technology instead of a toy, you know? So it doesn't really look like I'm playing games, even though I am. So,
Yes.
Anyways, we are going to wrap this show. I want to thank everybody for watching Nintendo Pow Block. Remember, you can catch it every Tuesday at 7 a.m. Eastern Time on your podcast service of choice. Coming soon to Spotify and iHeartRadio. Remember, you can watch podcast breakouts on our YouTube channel or on nerdsgonerogue.com. You can check out the cartridge slot, eShop drop, and topical breakouts every day on those locations. Jeez. Let's see, what else do I need to plug? Oh, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Nintendo_PBlock. I really encourage you to go there, especially because once a month we are going to do social media giveaways. Just, 48-hour contest here. Get yourself an indie game if you retweet or whatever. We're going to start doing that. And yeah, it's going to be a fun time. So check those out. Join our Facebook group, facebook.com/group/Nintendo Pow Block, or like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Nerds Gone Rogue. You can check out our new website, nerdsgonerogue.com, and check out our other podcasts, Arsenal X, our Xbox show, Nerds Gone Platinum, our PlayStation show, and Nerds Gone Rogue. Ed, where can we find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at that Retrico. You can check out Arsenal X podcast on Arsenal X Xbox channel, and Optional Opinion on SoundCloud and other podcast apps.
Nice. Jesse, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at PhantomMegadAX.
Yes. You will also be hearing a new theme song from Jesse on some of our shows, so look forward to that as well. As soon as I get done making the new intro for Nintendo Pow Block, you will be hearing a really awesome new intro. I love it, dude. I love that beginning too.
Yeah,
it's so good. So good. I love the Pow Block one so much. You can find me at CoreyNHD713 on Twitter. You can also find me on Instagram at CoreyNHD and on twitch.tv/CoreyNHD. Starting, well, if you're listening to this on the day of release, starting tonight, I'm going to be streaming a bunch of Nintendo games, so I'm really excited for that. I'm going to start streaming a couple nights a week, so really excited for that. And we're also going to start streaming this show in a couple weeks, so I'm very excited for that as well. I need one more piece of equipment to make all of it work, but you'll be able to find us streaming on multiple places as well. I think that's it. I want to thank everybody so much for watching, and like, subscribe, and share. Rate us, review, iTunes. Remember the giveaway. If you review us on iTunes and send us a screenshot of that, you will get granted a second entry to our giveaway. And that's it. Until next time, we love you. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.